one program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show all about the topic of real estate on the road today. And we are here talking to you this week as we started our Monday show off talking about real estate on retirement, or real estate for retirement, or real estate as a vehicle for retirement. And so we did the acronym RORE, ROAR. And so we set out the agenda for this week, and we got a great week, lots planned. Our Monday on a mission, talking about the agenda, how we laid out the week, the progression of the topics. Our Tuesday, today, we're going to dive into some of the nitty-gritty numbers of how real estate, when, it's kind of a funny and actually interesting story. When we first started the real estate show, the whole idea was that real estate, in our opinion, and in the opinion of many people, is the best investment vehicle out there, period, bar none. We talked about how real estate, and look at these different 5 points. Compare this to any other any investment, not just real estate, but compare real estate with any other investment out there. The ability to generate monthly positive cash flow. And this is cash flow, right? Not theoretical, not hypothetical, not on paper, but actual cash flow delivered into your bank account each and every month, the same kind of money that you can spend on groceries, rent, and all the other expenses that people have. Number 2, the tax advantages. Real estate is unparalleled by the amount of tax benefits that are offered to real estate investors. Then you add to that the equity buildup. And if you've heard this radio show for any amount of time, you know that we have often talked about the ability to create or force create equity through the improvement of the property, updating, adding to the property, equity through good negotiation, or even equity through the systematic pay down of a mortgage. All 3 ways are ways to create equity where there was none before, and now you can create it irregardless of what type of market that you're in. Then you talk about the appreciation, something that is going on right now in full force, as a matter of fact. We always call it the icing on the cake. In other words, we don't count on it for any particular period of time. We know that if you are a medium or midterm to long-term investor in real estate, that you will experience appreciation. And let me tell you that appreciation is where a lot of people make big money. Get yourself in the way. It's kind of like sitting in the ocean waiting for the wave to come. It's going to come. It's only a matter of time. And when it comes, generally those waves, they bring a lot of force, and you can harness those waves and do great things with them. So compare that to any other investment. Does it offer a current income? Does it offer unparalleled tax advantages, the ability to build equity and create consistent, systematic equity? Does it offer the opportunity for appreciation? And point number 5 is the leverage. Can you control a large asset with a relatively small amount, i.e. down payment? I can put 10% down, $10,000 down, but control a $100,000 asset. That's 10 times leverage. A 5% increase in that $100,000 property is a 50% rate of return on my $10,000. So it's not a hard argument to discuss and show why real estate is the ideal, the best investment vehicle out there. But is it the right vehicle for you to invest and put money in towards a retirement? And can real estate be a retirement? And I think that if you've been a listener to this show any amount of times, we've shown you, explained it to you, and we're going to continue to explain it. So yesterday, in fact, we even went down a really interesting example, and this is a mathematical equation here. I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with skill, talent, ability, but we showed how 2 identical twin brothers decided to invest in real estate. Both of them said, okay, Eric, I think you got the right idea. Real estate is. And the first one took action right away. He didn't relax. He didn't wait. And I'm going to tell you a couple of ways how you can take action right away today. And he invested $5,000 a year. That's it. $5,000 a year for 10 years And that was all. That's what he invested in. And then he let that money ride. A total of $50,000. By the end of the 10th year, that 50 was already at $78,000. Based on, by the way, we used a conservative 8% return. Now in real estate, that is conservative. I don't know where you'll get that in CDs, or any kind of fixed income vehicle right now. It's just not on the shelf. It's not available. So in this case here, we use 8%, and we use that for 10 years, and that's how he got to 78,000. Then we had his twin brother who did the opposite. He waited 10 years because, he thought it was a good idea, but I'm going to wait till I have more money accumulated. I'm going to wait till I do this. I'm going to wait till that. I'm going to wait till this, until the Democrats become Republicans, Republicans become Democrats. The economy goes up, the economy goes down, the interest rates go up or the interest rates go down. I hear this all the time, in and out of every single economy. I've heard that same procrastinating excuse why someone doesn't invest right away. And then so he waits 10 years and then his brother shows him that he's only been investing for 10 years, $5,000. He already has a $78,000 value to that account. So he's basically already up 50%. Okay. Now it's actually more, but let's just call it 50%. So his brother says, oh, I'm going to jump in on the wagon. And so he starts in the 11th year. He starts now for 10 years. He's going to start investing $5,000 a year, just like his brother did. Now, in the first year, his brother now has 84,000. He's got 5,000. The second year, his brother's got 91,000, still growing at the same rate. And they're both growing at the same rate. And now he's invested and he's got 11,000. Fast forward 20 years from that point when his second brother started investing. Brother number one, who took action right away, only invested for the first 10 years, $5,000, only invested $5,000. His money at the end of 30 years, P.S., first mortgage would be paid off by now too. But he's got a value of $364,000. And later on this week, I'm going to show you how to use your money twice, how to double the use of your money. You can do this with real estate, and you can do this just a very few ways. So I'm going to use my money twice. But in this case here, $50,000 invested at the beginning. At the end of 30 years, is now worth $364,613. $364,000, and he only invested $50,000. Same brother. Okay. Now the other brother waited 10 years and then invested $5,000 a year, but trying to play catch up, he invests for the next 20 years. So he has to invest $100,000. And at the end of the same 30 years, he now has $247,000 compared to the other brother. So the net gain, one brother net gained $314,000. The other brother, a net gain of $147,000. So as you can see, there's over a $100,000 difference because he waited. Simply, he waited longer, paid more, and still couldn't catch up. That's the time value of money, and that's something that's very important to understand. And if you want to start looking at real estate in the context of retirement, let me go back to that story I was starting to tell in the beginning of the radio show. And what I wanted to tell you is that when we first started investing in real estate and talking about this with other people, and then we decided to start our radio show 22 years ago. This has been around. So all this stuff didn't just happen. It didn't just occur. 22 years ago, we started talking about putting together a radio show that would teach. Remember, our mission here is to educate, enrich, and empower more Americans to own a piece of the American dream, i.e. real estate. And so we said, what if we could make real estate as easy as investing in a CD? In other words, you write a check, fill out some paperwork, and now your investment goes to work. Now, real estate, most people imagine it's a lot more work. It's finding the right piece of property, finding all of these things, and then discovering that now you've got all this extra maintenance and management and all of this stuff that you have to do. And now some people are taken aback, and they are put off by the fact that there's work, there's property management, there's tenants, there's, you know, what I call the TNT, tenants and toilets, right? And so they put off that decision because they're not sure if they're ready for it, if they know how to do it, or whatever the case may be. So we decided we were going to make real estate as easy as buying a CD. What we were going to do is we're going to find the investment for you, and we did. And then we said, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the TNT, all of the objections, we're going to take it away because we want to make real estate as easy as buying a CD. You get together with us, you fill out some paperwork, you write a check, and then the rest is a matter of receiving all of those 5 benefits that I just mentioned to you. You're going to receive those by ACH or direct deposit it into your babe. So you're going to get all of those things, and you won't have to do them. They'll be done for you. So here is the opportunity now. Real estate can be your retirement. It can be something that you start now, building towards a retirement, or it can be something that you're in real estate and getting the advantages of a steady monthly income, something that grows and grows and grows. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk to you about what I call the magic CD, i.e. real estate. And I'm going to describe the parallels and the differences of how you can do this. Anyway, you're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. Don't touch that dial when we come back. I've got a lot more for you when we come back. We're going to have a talk about that. That is a no. Tô no ar, então esse barulho, a luz está mudando, tá tudo. Eu tô no ar. Twyman Davis, how are you doing? Felipe Vasquez, how are you doing today? For all of our folks here watching, I want to say hi. We're taking a quick break here. Super concept. Very simple, as a matter of fact, but it's one that takes a lot of. And hello, South Florida. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're listening to The Real Estate Show, South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show, all about the concept of real estate. And we've been talking about real estate on retirement, RORE. And we've been talking about some of the premise to build it up. And then I said, why don't you come back? And by the way, I want to just for those of you who just joined us and those of you who want to contact us, the Real Estate Show comes out in 5 different ways every single day, 5 days a week during the week. So 5 different ways, 5 p.m. And these are the 5 different ways. We're on our AM 1470. Maybe you're listening to us right now, driving around in your car on your AM 1470. You could be listening to us on the FM dial, 96.9, 95.3. You could be listening to us on some of the apps, the free apps that you can download on your portable device, which allow you to listen to different radio stations. And all you have to do is search on any one of the apps, the radio.com app, the TuneIn app, which is kind of cool because it has a reminder. You can set an alarm for our show every day at 5 o'clock. You've got the iHeartRadio app, which many people have and already use. You've got the WWNN has their own app, and there's probably many more out there. So that's the what's that? AM, FM app, and then we have our online on our website. And this is important for you to write down: www.automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com, and you can go to the top of the page where you can click on the Listen Live button and listen to us live, or you can go to any one of our rebroadcasts there. They're all in sequential orders going there. They're part of the blog, they're part of the radio show notes, but embedded in the notes is a link to the full recorded version of the show. That's the 4th way. And then the 5th way is our Facebook Live. Right now, we're right over here on Facebook Live, where we are broadcasting this radio show right now, and I get to see who's watching us, or at least some of them, because it scrolls. And that's another way that you can ask questions. Give me a wave, say hello, give me a thumbs up. most important, click on the follow button, because then it will alert you every time the show does go live, and then you'll know to come on and join us 5 days a week, one of the 5 different ways, at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Anyway, back to our conversation about retirement. So we wanted to make, the object of the real estate show initially was to make real estate as easy to understand and as easy to own as owning a CD. And I don't know if you remember when CD rates at one time were in the double digits. Today, you'd be lucky to get 1% on a CD without locking it up for a long period of time, which then, of course, brings in the huge risk of inflation, what inflation might do to you. So CDs really aren't an option. And then when you take in consideration the CD purchasing power, when they were double digits, that was a long time ago, and you were still fighting with, the CD rates versus what the inflation rate was, because CD rates were usually about what the inflation rate. So you're basically trading dollars for nothing. And in the early 1990s, CD rates dropped below 4%, and their recovery was slow back then, and it's non-existent right now. So they offer a fixed rate of return, which is nice. That's why a lot of people do that. It's something that they basically know. They're insured by the FDIC up to a limit, which really isn't significant when you look at $100,000 of insurance there. And although a CD's return about mirrors the rate of inflation, when you take taxes out of it, you're now behind the 8 ball. So that's why they came up with the nickname of certificates of depreciation, because that's basically what they are. Now, let's talk about the types of income. Now, CDs are all 100% taxable, right? Unless you have it inside of an IRA account, but CDs by themselves are 100% taxable. There are 3 types of income that you should be aware of. There is taxable income. There is tax deferred income. That means that I don't have to pay the taxes now. I can defer it. And depending on the investment vehicle, like real estate, that you can defer the income from real estate for a long time. For example, in the sale of a property, I can, instead of selling it straight out, I can sell it through what's called a 1031 exchange. And by doing that, I now sell, the proceeds of that sale go into a custodial account, and then I choose another property and I buy something of equal or greater value and roll the profit, which means now I don't have to pay taxes yet. And I can take what would have been depleted from my investment for taxes and still roll it into another investment. And remember, I can control a large amount of dollars with a relatively small amount of dollars. So the savings on the taxes might be enough to buy another property. That's how significant it is. And if I could do that, and the next time I roll it into another property, and then I roll it into another property, do you see how I can kick the tax can almost eternally down the road? So tax deferred is something very interesting, which is, so if I made real estate as easy as a CD, but made it better because now I take 100% taxable income and I can make it, number one, tax sheltered. We didn't talk about that yet, but tax sheltered, meaning that some of that income is sheltered from taxes. I can defer the taxes, and there's a third type of income called non-taxable income, which is probably a little bit further beyond. But you're going to want to find, when you get involved in real estate, you're going to want to find a really good tax, a CPA, a tax expert who is experienced in real estate, because what you can do when it comes to taxes in the real estate world, again, unmatched, unparalleled by any other investment vehicle out there. And so those are the 3 ways. So the sources of income that come to mind, of course, earned income, generally taxable, Social Security income, even that's taxable now, money market accounts, CDs, passbook savings, all that other stuff, taxable, and real estate, advantaged. Okay, so it's very important to see that. So we can talk about the individual benefits of tax deferral. I gave you just a little sneak peek there. We can talk about the individual advantages of tax-free income. And one of the nice things, if you look at our former president, right? Because of that real estate empire that he built, a lot of the income has tax advantages and therefore doesn't go to the government. Now, as long as you do everything the right way and stay within, the confines of the law, I know lots and lots of real estate investors that if you looked at their tax returns and you looked at their lifestyle, there would seem to not be a match. But it's all done correctly thanks to things like depreciation. I mean, depreciation is one of my favorite things. Depreciation is an expense that you get to deduct on your tax return, but you don't actually have to write a check for it. I hear people say, well, I do this because I get a tax write-off. Well, you had to spend the money to get the tax write-off. And if you didn't need necessarily, or if you didn't have to spend money to get a write-off, wouldn't that be ideal? Well, that's right. Real estate is the ideal investment. I get to deduct this depreciation expense, and the more real estate you have, the more depreciation you get to deduct. Remember, I can defer that whole sequence down the road. So which alternative is best for you? Now, this is actually a real question, right? You say, well, duh, I want to pay as few taxes as possible. But depending on where your income comes from today might make a little bit of a difference on how you set things up. Do I set things up in a trust? Do I set things up in an LLC, in a C corporation, S corporation? And that's why it's a little bit more complicated up front. I know that puts off a lot of people, but that's why you come to the people who've already been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and now can tell you, talk to this accountant. Do this way, depending on whether you're coming with a very simple, hey, listen, I'm just a W-2 employee right now, so I'm starting from scratch, or if you have a more complex situation going in. What's better, taxable income, tax deferred income, or not taxable income? And all of those depends on the best alternative depending on your particular situation. So let's talk about another aspect of investing for retirement. And this is key. And this is why Tools, Tips, and Techniques Tuesday is one of people's favorite shows, because we talk about the real tips and the tools that you want to use here. Let's talk about that ideal investment concept again. Your CD, for example, the safety of principal and interest. If you cancel a CD before that long period of time that you commit to, you actually get penalized and lose the interest. In real estate, if you have to sell early and you sell into a strong, good market, you'll still have your principal. If you are flexible enough in time, you'll have safety of principal, because the market always comes back. Look back at the Great Depression, the Great Recession, even the pandemic. You see that real estate is doing really well, and real estate is a scarce commodity. They're not making any more of it. Right now we have a shortage of inventory. There's not enough construction to catch up the inventory right now. So real estate, you want to talk about your principal. Again, medium to long term, no worries there. And think about some of the other forces that, between the national debt and the coming inflation, and inflation has always risen the level of real estate prices. So a couple of things to consider as we talk the rest of this week about real estate for retirement or as a retirement, however you want to look at it here. You want to keep it tuned in here. We're out of time for today's Tools, Tips, and Techniques. Tomorrow, we'll be back here for the real estate on retirement. We're going to talk about that from the point of view of the marketplace and the news. Tomorrow's our midweek report. So stay tuned. Join us right back here, right where you found us here. Remember, we're live 5 days a week, 5 p.m. Eastern, the 5 different ways that I told you. You can always call us at 888-595-7779. That's 888-595-7779, or reach out us on our website at automaticlandlord.com. Well, that's it for today. This is your host, Eric Willner, signing off. Until tomorrow, drive safe, wash those hands, make it a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you, Pierre.